him.
I want to watch the news.
Are you making headway at least?
This is the news.
Smack-a-magab, it's time for the only news that matters. And it's also time to bash on Sammy Hagar Belcher, one of my favorite pastimes. Sammy Hagar Belcher said that performing Van Halen on the Best of All Worlds tour made him feel like he and Michael Anthony owned the band's catalog. Seriously, can this guy be any more douchey? He also reflected on being completely left out of Alex Van Halen's memoir, Brothers. The Red Rockers' career retrospective tour received a very warm welcome for the fans, especially the fans of the two former members of Van Halen performing classics from both the Roth and Hagar era after Alex Van Halen's ill-fated all-star tribute to his late brother Edward fizzled out. Belcher has been vocal about why he believes in the importance of having the band's material performed live. With a Vegas residency coming after the very successful tour, he told Rolling Stone in a recent interview that being the only person associated with Van Halen who's still playing the music makes him feel like he owns it. He said, the whole Vangina catalog, mainly my catalog, that is Vangina, that's your catalog, I feel like I own it now because nobody else can do it, and also nobody else wants to do it because it sucks. It's like there's no one that could do that catalog except the cover band, and they would be better at it. My wife, Mikey and I, we feel like we own it, and we feel this obligation to the music and to the fans to carry it out. It was the most expensive tour I've ever had. It cost more than the Van Halen's Monsters of Rock tour to take this tour on the road. You know, by the way, I read an article not too long ago. Damn, I should have did a Only News That Matters about it. How, I didn't know this, but that Van Halen Monsters of Rock tour, they lost a lot of money doing that. I had no idea. I thought it was successful. But whatever. You know, I can't help but hearing Sammy say stuff like I own the catalog now, where maybe it's wishful thinking on my part, but maybe he is aware of the only news that matters. And he wants to be part of it. He wants to hear me bitch about him. Seriously, he must. I think so, because he can't be, serious about this shit. He's saying, I'm going to say something that'll make Dr. Fuck make a story about it. And this would be it. But you know what? If David Lee Roth, and you all know I'm a Dave to the Grave fan. I like David Lee Roth's voice more than Sammy Hagar. I like David Lee Roth's lyrics more than Sammy Hagar. I like his stage presence. Everything about Dave I like more than Sammy. But if Dave was to go out there, and to show you how I'm not biased, is that if Dave was to go out there and say, hey, I own the Van Halen catalog, and sings like a dying frog, because that's what he sounds like now. I know you all think that, I'm Dave to the Grave. I am, but I'm also not biased, I'm not a sheep. There's too many sheep out here, that, defend David Lee Roth and would never say a bad word about him. And the same thing with Hagar fans. You would never say a bad word. If Dave went out there and said, I own the Van Halen catalog, I'd be making an episode exactly like this, but instead of Sammy Belcher, I'd be slamming David Lee Roth for this. It's stupid to say that. And it's also very disrespectful. You think about it. Oh, oh, I miss Alex, I want to be his friend. And then you turn around and say, hey, basically, Alex, I own your music now since you ain't playing because you're rickety. Yeah, you saw that news report before. I feel bad for Al. He's rickety. Fucking idiot. And speaking of idiots, I keep getting these comments over and over again. And these are Sammy Belcher fans that are idiots. I'm not saying all Sammy Belcher fans are idiots, but the ones that say the same thing over and over in these comments I get from these Sammy Belcher idiot fans. All Sammy Hagar albums went #1 and it sold more than Dave. They all say that. Now, #1, so what if it did? Do you judge music with Billboard chart position or how much it sold? If that's so important in you, then here, suck on this. Vangina did not even sell half as much, or I think it is half as much as Van Halen did with Roth. I don't know why these people don't do research. You know what it is? They're such sheep that when Sammy goes on and starts talking about, I sold more than David Lee Roth, and David Lee Roth's jealous of me because I was more successful, all these Sammy Belcher fans believe it. Even, there was some TV show, reels about Vangina saying how it sold more than Van Halen. Nobody does their fucking research. Man, the very first Van Halen album in 1984, those two albums alone sold more than the whole Vangina discography. Add Van Halen 2, multi-platinum, and all their albums. Fair Warning, the one that most people say is their best album, sold the least. Only sold 2 million while the others sold a few more, That goes to show how much album sales mean. It means squat, but these Sammy Belcher fans think it does mean something, so they'll say, hey, it sold more than David Lee Roth. But boy, when you bring it up, you're wrong, and here's a link on the RIAA. You can see for yourself it just sold half as much. Oh, they won't reply after that. They keep their bitch mouth shut. Seriously, they're idiots. Not all Sammy Belcher fans are idiots. A lot of them are really cool people. Like the people that leave these comments saying, man, I love Sammy Hagar, but I also love hearing you bash him. Those are cool, smart. They're smart. They're not idiots. Like the Sammy Belcher fans that say, they all went to #1 and they sold more. If #1 means so much, what Vangina song went to #1? Is there any Vangina song that went to #1? If #1 is so important? Because they had a #1 hit with Dave. Does that mean that song is better than all the Sammy Belcher songs? I bet you won't say it. No way is Jump better than any of the Sammy Belcher songs. But yet, you put importance to #1. You hypocrite. You suck like your idol, Sammy Belcher Hagar, and his wife, Michael Anthony Belcher Hagar. Now, I can't confirm this, but I did get a comment not too long ago where somebody said there's a new book Steve Rosen wrote called Tone Chaser, and he said in the book that Eddie Van Halen heard some of Sammy Hagar's solo stuff after he joined Van Halen, and he heard his solo stuff and he thought it sucked. I don't know if that's true, but boy, it's believable. If you did read that book, Tone Chasers, leave it in the comments below if that is a true quote. Sounds real to me. Anyway, Sammy Hagar, what a douche. And I got another Only News That Matters about Sammy Hagar, because he recently came out saying something that Joe Satriani wasn't the right guy to do Eddie Van Halen. Boy, do I have a lot to say about that. So, hey, it might be tomorrow, but if a juicy story comes, then just be patient. It'll be up eventually. And thank you so much for watching The Only News That Matters. Leave your comments below. Do you think it's cool that Sammy Belcher is now saying, I own the music? Oh, if you do, you're a dork. But hey, I don't care if you're a dork, man. Please subscribe to my channel if you haven't, and ring that little notification bell. I totally would appreciate that. And like the video, it's good for the YouTube algorithms. So stay frosty, listen to Black Sabbath, and smack 'em a cob.
Farewell and adieu to you fair Spanish ladies. Farewell and adieu, you ladies of Spain. For we've received orders for to sail back to Boston. And so never more shall we see you again.